Alright, hey guys, what's up? We're gonna continue the build series. I don't know what we're gonna call it yet. Set episode 2 though. We'll go with that. As shown in the last video, took suspension off, did bib mooses on tires, new tire in the rear, put an IMS tank on. You didn't see that because I lost video and stuff like that, but whatever. Today we are going to pull off the swing arm, clean it up a little bit. I want to check the bearings in the swing arm, put a little grease in them from what I can. Then we're gonna pull off some more of the plastics, switch all the plastics out. So we'll be pulling off the rear fender, the front fender, front plate. I'm gonna pull off my handguards. I'm not sure if I'm gonna run bark busters for next year. I'm undecided. I am gonna keep these, and I'm getting new actual handguards because I broke this one. So we're getting new ones just in case. I'm also gonna be ordering just regular handguards, having those come in, and that's gonna be the deciding factor. The only thing I don't like about these, they offer great protection. I've noticed. I have hit a couple trees while racing, but if I dump the bike, they're either going pushing up or pushing down, and I hate that, especially when I'm racing. Kind of dangerous too. I broke this one when I was riding the motocross track, and it completely messed up. So I've heard stories from other guys that I race with that they have gotten like their hand stuck in there and then broken wrists and stuff like that. So that kind of sketched me out a little bit. I do have to go to work on Mondays after races, so it's kind of a pain. But we'll just jump right into this, I guess, and get going with tearing the bike down a little bit more. So to pull the swing arm off, you are gonna have to undo your linkage. I have a Duval lowering link on here because I'm short and it sucks to reach the ground. So that's just one bolt right there, nice and easy. And then you have your pivot bolt. You pull off nut on this side right there, this one, nice and easy. And then you want to unsnap your brake line, and you are going to want to slide out your rear brake assembly. I have a Tusk brake guard, rotor guard on this bike. That's what this orange thing is. There's a little groove in there that you gotta slide it out, and then just unsnap the line from over there. So it's pretty simple. Also, I didn't think about this before I did it. You gotta figure out a way to either weight down your bike in the back or strap it down. I am gonna spin my stand around and throw straps onto the little crossbars and then just hook down the pegs to hopefully strap it in place to hold it up, because right now it's front heavy and it's trying to tip forward. So we'll figure that out, and then we'll move on to the swing arm and go over what I was talking about. Alright, so I kind of get her strapped up there. It's good enough for now. Hopefully it holds. If not, maybe I'll come back here, my bike will be on the ground. Who knows? Swing arms up here on the bench. It is pretty dirty, so I'm going to pull things apart, clean it up. When you're pulling out, be careful of your linkage bearings. These little seals and the spacers in the middle will fall out. Mine fell out, so I cleaned it off, put it back in quick. But I'm gonna inspect all these bearings. I'm going to pull this off, my whole linkage setup off, inspect the bearings. They should be good. They only got 20 hours on them. And then I'm going to throw grease in them, kind of repack them without pulling them all the way out. Same thing for up here. I'm going to check bearings all the way around. Probably pull off this chain guide and the guard, chain guide, wipe down the swing arm, kind of clean some of the grease off. You can see it in there, just dirty. Just cleaning everything up that I can for once the bike's back together. At least it'll be nice and clean throwing it there. So we will get into it. Alright, so we got this off, get the linkage off. That was a pain. Probably a lot easier when it's on the bike to just crack the bolts and loosen them. It's pretty dirty. I mean, what do you expect? You can't really wipe everything down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe it all down first, and then we'll go into checking the bearings and assembling it back together. So the actual swing arm bearings, pretty easy to inspect. You get a little sleeve in here. If you just stick your finger in it, you can pull it right out. It's nice and easy. Still looks like it's greased up good. The needle bearings look pretty good. I'll have to inspect them a little bit closer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take some Maxima grease, just waterproof grease. Just gonna put some on my finger and push it into the needle bearings inside, and just repack them, and then put the spacer back in. So one thing to note when you're packing the bearings, be very careful not to lose any of the actual needles, because they'll get stuck to your finger, stuck to the grease, and fall out. Then you'll have premature bearing wear, possibly a failure, which isn't any fun. So you definitely don't want that to happen. I ended up taking my gloves off so I could feel better with my fingers, and that way I wouldn't miss a needle if one got stuck to it. And another tip, what to do on these drawers, if you have zip ties, take a zip tie if you don't plan on putting your stuff back together, and just zip tie around the bearing, and it will help hold it in place. That way nothing will fall out while you're working on it. That way you don't have to worry about losing any little pieces or get them dirty after you just re-greased them. So I'm just going to do the same thing for this linkage. Pull out the spacers, outer parts of the bearing. Then the actual needle part is in the bearing. Left side of the linkage. Just going to re-grease them. Also, a good tip that I found when packing grease, if you don't have the actual bearing in your hand, is to put it on your finger and then push straight down and then pull out. That will help not have the needle stick to your finger and then fall out. Then it's just a pain to put it all back together. You are going to have a lot of overflow Nothing wrong with that. You can just wipe it off after when you put everything back together. So I am going to put this back on, and then pull it apart, grease it. I'll put the bolt back through onto the swing arm, and then we'll throw some zip ties in the other bearings. That way we don't have to worry about them falling out at the moment. So you see there's a lot of grease inside. That'll push out once the bolts go through. It's nothing crazy. I also forgot to put the spacer back in this one. So, good thing I noticed before I started zip tying. Just double check your work. That way you don't mess up like that. Because you do that, you're gonna screw up the bearings on the inside. They're just gonna fall apart. This spacer rolls on the needle bearings and keeps the bolt in line and everything moving smoothly. So another good tip, if you don't know what you're doing, take pictures before of the parts, especially this. You can easily put it on backwards. If you have a manual, you can just turn to the page and it kind of just shows you what you want to do with it. Oh, geez. Train of thought's gone. Also shows you torque specs and everything like that, so that helps out being able to torque down the bolt to the right spec once it's back together. So to pull off the rest of your plastics, pretty simple. One bolt for the front number plate. You go underneath, you got two bolts right there, and then you'll have two more behind this front number plate. They're just 10 millimeters. I always just use not 10s, 8, sorry. I use T-handle just because I'm lazy. When you go to the back, you got two right here, and then two underneath, and your rear fender should slide right off. So we'll get into that. Another thing to remember, you do have your seat bolt in here, and then you will have one of your plastic bolts. For the most part, I end up putting my bolts back into the holes that they came out of. That way I know where they are, and nice and easy to get to. And that's that. So it's pretty much stripped down. The only piece of plastic I have left on it is the airbox cover, which is going to stay the same orange. It's not too much of a big deal. You'll be able to see it a little bit, and it'll stick out, but whatever. It works for what I'm doing. So that's that. I'm gonna put these bolts back in, and we'll go from there. For the hand guards I have on this bike, they're Kirby's X Factory, bark busters, whatever you want to call them. So it's pretty much pull out this end bolt. There's a little sliding piece on the inside, which will probably be a pain, and then pull off these back 2 bolts for the handlebar clamp, and they should pull right out. So I did notice on both of these, I actually ended up breaking off a tab on each side. This piece that goes into your bars, when you screw this nut into this end piece, let's see if I can line it up. It'll line up, and then from there, this sucks in to there and spreads it out and makes them lock in. So I guess I'll have to order new ones. I might be able to make them work. Just flip them. They probably just won't grab as well, but it's all part of the game, I guess. You're gonna break parts. I do have ODI lock-on grips on both of these sides. I think I'm gonna end up changing these. They're nice. I just like full waffle. These only half waffle, so probably gonna pull those off eventually. Change the whole throttle tube, because with ODI lock-on, the throttle tube is part of it. So you just slide the whole tube on, hook up your throttle cables, and the other side just screws right on. I do have a Motion Pro throttle tube that I'm gonna be throwing on if I switch over. And then you just glue on your grips, wire them on, and call it a day. But I guess that's gonna be it for this video. Just waiting on parts. Suspension's going up to factory connection tomorrow. I drop it off. Wait for new plastics, and then we will be able to start putting this thing back together, I guess, for what's gonna be. Pretty much everything that I'm gonna do is bolt on after. So take it from there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any input, let me know. Any parts you recommend, I'll check them out. And thanks for watching again.